Yo, what is going on, everybody? It is Luke Beller with the Sideline Scoop. So I've decided to start this new series here on this channel where I'm basically going to take this fantasy football team that I drafted last night live with my friends and basically document the entire season, hopefully ending up winning a championship, because that's the goal of every fantasy, player. If you're not going for the championship, what's even the point? So that's why it's called Road to the Ship, and this is going to be episode 1, where I basically break down my team that I drafted with my friends last night. Basically go through pick by pick, why I picked them, basically my draft strategy, exactly what it was, and maybe you like my team, maybe you hate it. I mean, I don't know. You can, let me know what you think about my team after you see the video. But I'm gonna go down pick by pick, basically show you guys exactly what I picked, and basically document this team throughout the entire season, week by week, players I pick up, trades I make, hopefully ending up in the championship. And so you'll have this entire series to look back on and just sort of see exactly how it went. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. All right, what is up, everybody? So in a second, I'm gonna come here to my computer and share my screen so you guys can sort of see clearly the draft board as I go pick by pick. But basically a background on this, I've been in this fantasy league for probably like 5 or 6 years with tons of my friends. We have a winner's trophy, a loser's trophy here. We have this loser's trophy. It's called the Horse's Ass Award. Luckily, I'm not on this award. For all my friends who are on this, you can see your name here. But the guy who got last this year, he is no longer in the league. We replaced him with someone else, and so that's why I'm the commissioner. So I'm holding this trophy here for whoever gets last place this year. Hopefully, it's not me. I don't expect it to be me. I'm probably gonna win. You got to believe in yourself. So yeah, there's that. But basically, I've been in this league for a long time, and it's fun. We do a live draft, but I'm just gonna go through right now, share my screen, and basically start breaking down my strategy, players I picked. So here we go. All right, guys, so here we are. Here's the entire draft board, as you can see. For those of you who don't know, my name is Luke Beller, so here I am, Luke. I got the 5th spot. We basically picked this draft order by just putting names in a hat, and then we each got to basically pick where we went. I honestly wanted to come in and get a top 4 pick. I wanted one of these top 4 running backs, one of these 4 guys. Unfortunately, I didn't get to get that spot, but I got 5th pick, and so, yeah, it's not too bad. But I'm going to go through all these, mainly just focus on my team. You can take a look at the other guys, how they drafted, but I'm just going to go through basically why I picked this team, what my mindset was coming in. So honestly, this year I wanted to come in and mainly focus on running backs in the first couple rounds, at least probably the first 2 rounds, if sort of things fell how I wanted to, maybe the first 3 rounds, depending. But as you can see here, sort of no surprise. Honestly, I was pretty shocked that Christian McCaffrey didn't go first, but, whatever happens. But you see Saquon Barkley, McCaffrey, Elliott, Kamara, and I wanted one of those 4 guys, but it's coming in 5th. I still like Derrick Henry. I don't love him as much as the other guys, but I honestly wanted to come in and pick a running back, and I still think that he will have a solid season. Maybe not as good as last year, but I still think he'll have a solid season coming up into this season. And so I figured, okay, I'll pick Derrick Henry. Why not? I want to get a running back in the first round. And it's a standard league, by the way. It's not PPR, so running backs have even more value in this league. Also, we start 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers. We have 2 flex. You can play running back or wide receiver at the flex, then a tight end, defense kicker, then like 6 bench spots. So it's pretty much like most leagues besides it being standard. Yeah, but that's basically it. So I came in here with Derrick Henry with the first pick, decided to start with a running back. Then as you can see here, I honestly wanted to come in with another running back. I would have liked Josh Jacobs if he would have slipped, or even Miles Sanders, but Miles Sanders is the guy I really wanted, but he didn't really make it far. He went in the first round. So as I can tell, Miles Sanders is pretty what am I trying to say? People want Miles Sanders, obviously, if he went in the first round. Then we come around, I decided to go with Joe Mixon with my second pick. He was basically my favorite running back at that point. Aaron Jones, I'm a huge Packers fan, but with Aaron Jones right here, I don't know. I just think that he's going to regress this year. I just think he's going to regress, and that's why I just didn't want him at this position. That's why I went with Joe Mixon. I think he'll have a solid season coming into 2020. Then as we come around to the 3rd round, I honestly love the fact that Kenny Golladay fell to this spot. On my rankings, he was like the 7th guy, and so he was like what receiver picked? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 7th or 8th. So I love the fact that Golladay slid to me. And I think this sort of shows you what is possible. Like, you can start off with a couple running backs and then have some pretty solid wide receivers fall to you in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round. And so for me, that was sort of my ideal strategy coming into this. So I was able to get Golladay in the 3rd round, which I love. I think he'll be a great receiver this season. And then as we come around to the 4th round, we had some running backs go, some wide receivers, a couple quarterbacks. Quarterbacks went somewhat early. Not super early, I guess, depending on, sort of how you draft. But then we come around to the 4th round, and here we go. This guy, Calvin Ridley. Honestly, Calvin Ridley is basically the guy that I wanted to get. He's a guy who I've had my eye on this entire offseason. I think that he's going to have a great year on this Falcons team. Maybe he can even surpass Julio Jones this year. That's a pretty bold prediction, but I think it's possible.
I don't really know if it'll happen. We'll have to see exactly what happens this season. But I'm glad. I love that I got Calvin Ridley here. I was hoping that he would still be here in the 4th round, and he fell to me. So locked in the guy that I really wanted. Sometimes it's just like if you got a guy that you love, sometimes you got to reach for him. I honestly don't think this is reaching for Calvin Ridley. I think he is a great 4th round pick. And so the fact that I was able to start off with 2 solid running backs, I think Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, and then get 2 very solid, I think, wide receivers in Kenny Galladay and Calvin Ridley. I love this start to my draft, basically. So then we come here to the 5th round. I honestly wanted to get probably 3 running backs in the first 5 rounds because, running back talent just sort of drops off after that point. And yeah, there are more wide receivers later in the draft. But I wanted to stack up lots of running backs. And so then we come here, we pick David Johnson. I know lots of people might not love David Johnson, but in this range of running backs, which is like, around 20th ranked, you have David Johnson, guys like Jonathan Taylor, as you can see here, got picked later, DeAndre Swift. Some of these guys, the guys who have some question marks, it's not one of these top 5, top 10 guys. But the thing with David Johnson is it could be that his great days are behind him. But I also think there's potential that he could, still have a pretty good season this year. The fact that the Texans traded DeAndre Hopkins and got David Johnson, I think it was a pretty dumb trade, honestly. But the fact that the Texans have David Johnson now, I think they're going to utilize him a lot because they, paid so much to get him on their team. And so I think that David Johnson is a guy who could do very well this season. That's why I wanted to pick him in the 5th round. He's a little riskier, honestly, I'd say. But with the running backs who were there, he was sort of my favorite guy. I was honestly wanting to get James Conner in this draft, but he went a little bit earlier than I would have. I could have picked him here in the 4th round, but honestly, I really wanted Calvin Ridley. I was hoping Conner would fall to me in the 5th round. I like him more than David Johnson, but he didn't, so I ended up picking David Johnson there. And then we come around here, swing around. Some people pick some tight ends, some more wide receivers, and then I decided to, I don't know, I think at this point, I just didn't really like the running backs anymore. I already had 3. Decided to go with Devontae Parker, who last year did pretty solid in all the games that he played, and I think that he will continue to do well in 2020. So he's a guy that I wanted to pick. So I got him here in the 6th round. So started off 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers. Coming around to the 7th round, as you can see here, I picked Kareem Hunt. I think Kareem Hunt is a very talented guy. If you take a look last season, when he was injured the first 8 games, of course, Nick Chubb did insanely well. But when he was back, when you take those 8 games, Kareem Hunt was ranked the 17th running back, while Nick Chubb was ranked the 15th running back. So there wasn't much disparity between the 2 of them last season. I do expect Nick Chubb to do much better this year than Kareem Hunt, and which is why Nick Chubb was going in the 2nd round up here. But honestly, I did not like Nick Chubb in the top 10 this year of running backs, just because I think there's, with Kareem Hunt, I just think that Kareem Hunt is going to take a lot of Nick Chubb's carries, and Nick Chubb could do amazing this year. I just think there's more risk, especially when you're picking him early in the draft. But I love that Kareem Hunt fell here. I think he could be a solid player each week, maybe like a flex guy. And if Nick Chubb ever goes down, man, Kareem Hunt will probably be like a top 5 running back. So I sort of love the upside with Kareem Hunt here. Okay, so after this pick, honestly, I did not plan this at all. I was planning to wait till 10th or 11th to be basically the last person to take a quarterback in this draft. Honestly, I was eyeing Carson Wentz because I think Carson Wentz will be a great player this year. He's going 10th right now in drafts. As you can see here, he went super late. So, I could have waited and gotten Carson Wentz. But when we came around to this basically pick, the wide receivers at this point, I didn't love the guys going at this point. And the running backs, I didn't love the running backs going at this point. And so I was looking at these quarterbacks, and 8th round is pretty late, I guess, for quarterbacks still. But I just sort of loved Kyler Murray because I think coming to this year, I think that he has so much upside when you take his running ability and his passing ability. They have so many weapons on this offense with DeAndre Hopkins coming in here. And I think that just picking him, he's a guy who is going to be exciting to watch every single week. And he's a guy who I just has tremendous upside every week. He could win you weeks just with his legs, with his, the games he goes off. I think he'd just have a very solid year. I feel like he's a guy like last year, like Lamar Jackson, who was sort of picked a little bit later, but ended up finishing much higher. I think that Kyler Murray has that potential. And so the fact that he was still here, I was like, man, I don't really like the guys, other positions going right now. And so I decided to pull the trigger on quarterback and pick Kyler Murray. So honestly, I think that he was a pretty solid pick when it comes to the quarterback position. And so now here we go. Coming into the 9th round, I was planning on getting these 2 tight ends, Hayden Hurst and Mike Gesicki. As you can see, I got both of them after coming into the 12th round. So I was able to still stack up on some more running backs and wide receivers. I decided to go with Sony Michel, who I think, with that Patriots offense with Cam Newton, I think he has some upside, because he was probably like a 32nd, 33rd running back picked here. and a guy who could be starting a lot of the year, who could end up being good if this Patriots offense is good. So I think he's another good running back, maybe like more of a sleeper. Decided to go with Sony Michel here, like the pick. There we go. Then coming around here to round 10, still waiting on a tight end. Already have my quarterback. I don't really need any other positions. So I decided to go here with Brandon Cooks with the wide receivers that were basically available at this point. I think that Cooks has potential this year. I mean, he might not do great, but with Deshaun Watson, Brandon Cooks, of course, used to be a good player. Hopefully he'll be good this year. We'll see. 10th round pick, you don't really need too much from a 10th round pick, but I sort of like the potential that he could have with Deshaun Watson on this offense. Then coming around here to round 11, here's a guy, Zach Moss. I made a video before about running back sleepers. He's a guy that I wanted to target. I might have reached a little bit for him, but, at this point in the draft, it's like if there's a guy you want, why not reach for him? Just why not? So I decided to go with Zach Moss at this point in the draft because I think he's a guy who has lots of upside, a great sleeper. I'm going to be playing behind Devin Singletary, but who knows, maybe throughout the season, Zach Moss could end up taking the starting position. So, I like that pick. I love that pick. So there we go. Then we come around here, Aaron Rodgers, some other guys picked, quarterbacks picked, and then decided to finally pick up my tight ends. Hayden Hurst is a sleeper tight end that I have honestly wanted to target coming into this draft. I don't really like picking tight ends. I mean, unless you get like a top, Travis Kelce, George Kittle in the top end, I honestly don't think there's a reason to pick any other tight end until later. Might as well stack up on other positions. That was my thought process coming into it. And I actually made some sleeper videos about tight ends earlier. I can link them down below. But Hayden Hurst was basically the guy that I wanted to target. And so I'm glad I got him in the 12th round. I think that's a pretty solid value for him. I think he could do very well in this year. So I got him there. And then coming in around 13, here's a guy that maybe most people might not want to pick, Allen Lazard. I'm a huge Packers fan, as you can see back here. We've got some stuff back there. But anyways, I just think that on this Packers offense, of course, people in this offseason were like, why didn't the Packers pick up any wide receivers? I think that they have lots of trust in the wide receiver talent they have. Of course, Devontae Adams is the number one receiver for the Packers, but Allen Lazard is going to be the number 2 guy. And I think that he is going to do very well this season. Him and Aaron Rodgers last year built up tons of chemistry. It was Allen Lazard's first year. He came from the practice squad of the Jacksonville Jaguars, ended up on the Packers team, came in week 5, and from that point on started to produce a lot more and gain the trust of Aaron Rodgers. And I think that this year, honestly, I think that he can really break out this season. He had a like pretty good year last year, not great. Not a great year, but he put up like 500, 600 yards. I can't remember exactly. Maybe I'm wrong, but he had a pretty solid year with Aaron Rodgers, and I think that their trust has grown with each other. I think that he is going to do great as long as he gets targeted. But yeah, anytime Aaron Rodgers targeted Lazard last season on 3rd down, he had like 112 QBR, something like that. So I really think Allen Lazard is a guy who's going to break out this year. So I wanted to make sure I got him right here. I don't think many other people really want him, but I want him. Okay, I want Allen Lazard. I'm a little biased because I'm a Packers fan, but that doesn't matter. Okay, there we go. So that's round 13. Have a pretty solid team, honestly, I think, up to this point. Maybe you disagree. Maybe you agree. Let me know down below what you think so far. But then we come here. Chase Edmonds, I don't know. I think he could be good. Yeah, I mean, at this point in the draft, it's like you don't really know exactly what's going on. Decided to pick Chase Edmonds. Why not? Because his Cardinals offense could be solid this year. Maybe Chase Edmonds comes in and does some damage. Then coming around to round 15 here, I was planning on taking a kicker and a defense, but before this draft, I was thinking about picking up Hayden Hurst and Mike Gesicki just because they're both sort of guys who you don't exactly know what you're going to get, and so I figured I'd take 2 tight end sleepers, so if one of them pops off, I have twice as much of a chance of, getting a guy who pops off at tight end. So maybe I'll just start Hayden Hurst, stash Gesicki. Maybe Gesicki ends up being better than Hayden Hurst, and I'll just flip that there. So that's what I decided basically to do coming to this point, just sort of to double down on these sleeper tight ends. And then last round, just pick the Eagles defense just because, there's not really a big reason. Probably because I'm picking the defense last, I'll probably just stream tight defenses throughout the entire season, just sort of to play the matchup game with the defense. And for week 1, the Eagles play the Washington football team, which is super weird to hear. That's just a pretty lame name, the Washington football team. But anyways, I think the Eagles, could do well against the Redskins, the Washington football team. Sorry, I forgot. It's hard to get used to that. Anyways, but that was basically that. And now I don't have a kicker on my team yet, so I'm gonna have to drop someone before the season. But that shouldn't be a problem. The season starts an entire month, and we do this draft super early, just because people go to college and stuff, and so we have to get it done. And we like to do it live and in person. And so it was tons of fun last night doing the draft. But that is basically my team. I honestly do. I like my team a lot. I would have liked to get one of these 4 guys to start off, but Derrick Henry, still a solid player. Joe Mixon, still a solid player. I like the value I got at running back, or I like the running backs I got first. Start off with 2 running backs, and then the 2 wide receivers picking up Galladay and Calvin Ridley. I love those guys, and the fact that they're 3rd and 4th round picks, I think it just sort of shows why you should start with running backs first. Then we got some guys who may have some more question marks in David Johnson and Kareem Hunt, but I still think they have a good amount of upside in this season. And then Kyler Murray, a guy who I think, as I told you earlier, I just think he has lots of upside. He can move it with his feet, which when you have a guy who can run the ball, quarterback who can run the ball, man, that's nice to have. So that's basically my team. You can take a look at these other guys' teams. Who knows? Hopefully I will, bring it home, bring this championship home. So hopefully this series can be a good, entertaining series. Who knows how it will go? Hopefully the NFL season ends up actually happening and everything goes well, so we don't, have the season canceled. But if that does happen, last night we discussed basically if the season goes 10 games, and let's say we're to get cut after 10 games, and the playoffs don't finish in our league, then we decided whoever has the best record at that point wins the league. And if it's a tiebreaker, whoever has the most points scored of the highest record will basically win the league. And so if it doesn't go more than 10 games, then I guess no one wins. I have to return everyone's money. But that's basically what we decided for this season. But that's basically going to be it for this video. If you guys want to continue to watch this series as the weeks go on, maybe I'll make another video before the season starts, and then once the season starts, I'll update you guys on my record, if I won, if I lost, players I'm adding, trades I'm making, things like that. And you can sort of just watch how this team progresses. Probably at the end of this year, there'll be some picks on here where you're like, that was a terrible, atrocious pick. That'll probably happen because usually, when you look at draft boards at the end of the year, that's usually what happens. So it'll be sort of fun to watch to see how this goes in this upcoming season. So if you guys want to follow along, make sure you subscribe to the channel down below so you can continue to watch the series. And I'm thinking about putting some more fantasy football videos out in the next few weeks, probably. I hadn't done videos for probably 3 weeks or so. I had done a lot before that, but I sort of had taken a break a little while. But now I'm back with another video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you like it down below. Rate my team down below. Let me know if you like my team, if you hate my team, the picks you like, the picks you don't like, the picks you agree with. Or if you have another team on here who you think is stacked, let me know down below. But that's going to be all for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for the series for episode 2, whenever that does come out. Episode 1 complete. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys on the next video.